So with the next topic or today's topic that we're going to cover is something called special abilities, all right? And under special abilities, the first thing that we will cover is aptitude, okay? We're going to cover what? Aptitude, okay? Now, guys, you already know the definition of aptitude, which I don't think I need to tell you, isn't it? It basically refers to what? It refers to special abilities that you might have, isn't it? Or it basically refers to your underlying potential that you have, all right? And it can get enhanced when training is given to you, right? So this is what aptitude means. So I'm not going into the definition of it once again. Now, okay. So the definition which is given here, ये वाला definition मैं आपको करवाना चाहती हूँ. So it is a combination of characteristics that indicates an individual's capacity to acquire some specific knowledge. Fine. What is it? It is basically a combination of various characteristics which you show, right? Which you show, which basically tells the other person that you have the capacity to acquire that knowledge or that skill, okay? So what are the characteristics that you can show? Like, for example, Sachin Tendulkar, he was just a 10th pass individual, but he showed this like caliber, isn't it, that he can play cricket well, right? So he showed it in the characteristics, he showed it on the field, he showed it with his bat, and he showed this with his ball, isn't it? So these are what? These are characteristics that you might have, which will actually tell us that yes, you are capable of acquiring certain skills, okay? So that is what is known as your aptitude. Now, when you have knowledge of aptitude, it basically helps you to predict your future. Just I don't know how many of you have given aptitude test after class 10th, but why do you think aptitude tests are conducted? They are conducted so as to know what? So as to know that, okay, if you take this subject and you have the aptitude for it, your future is going to be secure. You will have a good future, you will do a good performance in this particular field. Why? Because you have the aptitude for it, isn't it? So that is what is known as your aptitude. Now, very interestingly, guys, in order to be successful in a certain field, you just don't need aptitude, but you also need to have interest. What is interest? Interest is basically the preference that you have for one activity rather than the other, okay? So if you have the aptitude but you don't have the interest, then obviously it's an odd combination, fine. You might not enjoy doing it and hence you might not do it, okay? But if you have the aptitude as well as interest, then definitely it's a very good combination, guys. Because then you already have the aptitude, you don't need rigorous training, and then you have interest also. So you will do everything to acquire that knowledge, isn't it? So it's very important to have both. It's very important to have aptitude as well as knowledge, okay? Sorry, as well as interest. Now, let's talk about aptitude test, guys, okay? So we're talking about what? We're talking about okay. Now, please understand that just like intelligence, aptitude also has to be measured, isn't it? Assessment is the first step, fine? So, aptitude को measure कैसे करेंगे, fine? So, aptitude tests are available in two forms. We have independent and then we have multiple, okay? So, it is what? We have independent. Independent में क्या आएगा? What will you have in independent? So independent would basically means specialized. Okay. Now, what do you mean by independent or specialized? It basically means that it will be judging you, or it will be measuring a particular aptitude of yours. Fine. What will it do? It will measure a particular aptitude. Okay. So it can measure clerical, mechanical, numerical, typing. Okay. So these are some examples. Okay. These are examples of your specialized test. Fine. Why do we have these specialized tests? Because they are governing a certain area. They're governing a certain particular area, right? They're governing a particular attribute, isn't it? One particular attribute. Okay. Now, okay. Now, aptitude tests can also be what? They can also be generalized or multiple. Okay. So, we can have multiple or generalized. Fine. What do you mean by multiple or generalized? So, it basically is going to judge you, or it's basically going to measure multiple aptitude at the same time. Okay. So, they can appear in the form of test batteries. What do you mean by test batteries? Test batteries will basically measure more than one of your aptitude. Okay. So, it can measure numerical, clerical, typing, all of it together. Fine. So, when your one aptitude is being measured, that would be known as your independent aptitude. Fine. But if you have more than one aptitude being measured, that is known as your test battery. Okay. So, what do we have over here? We have test batteries more than okay. What is being measured? More than one aptitude is being measured here. That is known as your test battery. Okay. All right. So I hope you've understood what test batteries are. So test batteries are basically going to govern a number of aptitudes together. Like for example, when you go for an interview, okay, suppose you're going for a job interview, they will give you a number of aptitude tests, right? They will see mechanical, clerical, typing, numerical, language, teaching, etc. All of it would be seen. So multiple aptitudes are being measured over here, okay? Now, one of the most frequently used aptitude test is what? We have GATB and we have DATB. Okay. So frequently used aptitude test में क्या-क्या आ जाएगा guys? What will you have? So one of the most frequently used aptitude test is DAT, which is differential aptitude test. Okay. Okay. What DATB and GATB, they are all battery of test. What are they? They are batteries of test. Fine. Then we have GATB, which is general aptitude test battery. Okay. So what do we have? We have GATB, which is your general aptitude test battery, fine. We also have something called ASVAB, which is your armed service vocational, okay, एक second, ASVAB, ठीक है, तो ये क्या है? This is your armed services vocational aptitude battery, ठीक है. So these are some of the most commonly aptitude tests which have been used, fine. Now DAT is the most commonly used in educational settings. So when you were in class 10th and if you have given this examination of what subjects to choose, then what exam would you have given? Which aptitude test? DAT, okay. So what is DAT? It is the most frequently used in educational institution, fine. Okay. So most frequently used where? In educational institution, fine. And obviously it is a battery of tests, fine. So it basically consists of a number of tests. Since I told you it is a battery of tests, which means it is going to measure your aptitude in different fields, okay. So it is going to measure aptitudes in which fields? So we have verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, verbal numerical, okay. So these are the fields, these are the aptitude, these are the fields in which they're going to measure your aptitude, fine. Abstract, clerical, mechanical, ठीक है. What do we have? We have abstract also, clerical also, mechanical, space relations, spelling, okay. Now please remember this, guys, that J.M. Ojha has developed an Indian adaptation of DAT, okay. So मैं यहाँ पे लिख दे रही हूँ. अच्छा. Now I'm going to explain this also, which are the areas it is going to measure. So verbal reasoning and numerical, I don't think I need to tell you, isn't it? What is abstract and space relations? So abstract means what? See, sometimes, guys, there's not a lot of explanation offered, isn't it? There's certain concepts which are very abstract in nature, right? So what if you don't have proper explanations offered for it, isn't it? But there are people who are able to understand these abstract concepts also very easily, okay? तो वहां पे क्या measure हो रहा है? What is being measured? Your abstract ability is being measured over here, fine? What is your abstract ability? How well are you able to understand concepts which do not have proper definition, okay? Then you have clerical speed and accuracy. So clerical is, see, there are a lot of people, you know, who are very good with paperwork, isn't it? They're very good with filing, they're very good with paperwork, they're very good with making contracts, etc., right? I don't know how many of you see Big Bang Theory, but Sheldon is that kind of character. where he's very good with paperwork. He enjoys paperwork, right? He enjoys drafting constitutions. He enjoys drafting legal papers, isn't it? So that is your clerical speed and accuracy, fine. Mechanical, I don't think I need to explain you. There are certain people who are very good with mechanics. They understand how things work, and if they don't work, they will make sure that it is, it is their duty. They will make sure if things are not good in their house, they're going to, sit with their screwdriver, etc., and they're going to make that product work, right? I think dads are a very good example of mechanical aptitude, because every Sunday my dad would also sit with a lot of things, mixie or geyser or whatever was not working, whatever my mom said was not working, he would sit with it on a Sunday and he would try to just repair everything. Fine. That's your mechanical aptitude. Okay. Space relations is the same as your spatial intelligence, which I've already explained. Spelling and language is something I'm sure I don't need to explain. So spelling is what? Now, there's certain people who are very good with spelling, right? These are people who participate in spelling bees and spelling competitions, and you tell them the word and they'll be able to tell you the spelling, right? And what is language usage? It is the same as verbal. How well are you able to use the language, right? How well are you able, what is the command that you have over language? How well are you able to use the language to express yourself? What your thoughts, feelings, and actions are, right? So that is what, okay?
अब एग्जाम की तैयारी को और बेहतर करने के लिए हमारे चैनल को लाइक, शेयर और सब्सक्राइब करना ना भूलें।